Hi, I'm Laura from Meadowlark Violin, and today I'm going to teach you a lovely slow version of Bonaparte's Retreat. First of all, let me show you what this can sound like when you add in some lovely embellishments. All right, now let's talk through the tutorial. All right, first let's talk about the bowings in the slow version. You can split these up however you want. So I've got a lot of 4/8 notes slurred together, but feel free to slur just 2/8 notes together, or if you're first learning it, if you want to play separate eighth notes, that's fine as well. So we're starting off with the A theme, which is what I call the march theme. So you're going to start with a pickup note, D and E for a pickup. And remember, we're swinging all of the eighth notes, so it's not but long, short, and then the half note. So you can hear how that E's a little quicker. Now when you play that E, I want you to keep it down as you play the F sharp. So here's the pickup and measure 1. You see, you can leave that first finger down and leave the F sharp down once you place it down because you're going to need them with all of those eighth notes. And when you place the third finger, leave it down as well, because in the second measure, you're going to have a fourth finger A on the D string. And I want you to play fourth finger there. Try to avoid the open A, because you want to kind of keep it all on one string here. So actually, while you're playing that G in measure 1, you can be reaching, kind of thinking about the fourth finger to get it ready. So here's measure 1 and measure 2. Right, measure 2 is just A, F sharp, and E. And if you left all those fingers down, you're just taking them off, right? And then in the end of measure 2, you have open D to F sharp. Okay. And then measure 3 is very similar. It's the same rhythm as measure 1. Very similar pattern. And then in measure 4, you have another G. So when you're doing those eighth notes in measure 3, KFD, keep those fingers down as well. So in measure 4, you have, you can just peel off those fingers if you left them down. Measure 5 and measure 6 are the exact same as measure 1 and measure 2. Measure 7 is just a little bit different, sounds like this. Okay. And then measure 8, you've got a down bow on a D. And that's a double dotted half note. Now don't think too much about it. Basically you're just holding it, and you're counting in your head, and you're holding it all the way to 4, the fourth beat, and then you just kind of sneak in those 16th notes, that D and E, right before the end. So it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. And you'll do the same thing with the second ending. You've got a double dotted D on that half note, and then you'll sneak in the A and C sharp right before the next measure. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So you've got a C sharp there over on the A string. And then the next note is a third finger D. So if you have your C sharp down, just put your third finger D right next to it. And that brings us to the B part, which is what I call the sunshine theme. So here's what measure 10 sounds like. Okay, so that D that first D, it's a ringtone, and it's really going to resonate and sound so beautiful. So make sure it's really in tune. Play long, repeated up bows, and you'll be able to hear it ringing. You hear how it just sounds really sweet and it really resonates? That's what you're going for here. Now keep it down as you reach back for the F sharp. Okay. And people tend to, I think, reach too far back for that F sharp when it follows a D like that. So make sure it's not too flat. Okay. Now I want you to keep that D down while you're practicing to kind of build an anchor for yourself. And eventually, if you want to take the D off as you're playing the F sharp, that's fine. And as you add some embellishments, you might want to do that anyway. So that F sharp's just on a dotted quarter note, so you're holding it for a beat and a half. Okay. All right, measure 11 starts with some eighth notes. Here's what measure 11 sounds like. And you might just want to loop these eighth notes. So you definitely do a fourth finger E for that second eighth note. You could just loop this again and again. Just to get really comfortable with that. Then you could even loop the whole measure. Just like that. Moving on to measure 12, this one's got kind of an awkward little skip in it, but the notes are D, B, A, F sharp. Kind of memorize those notes in that pattern, because if you do the fast version, you're going to see those notes a lot. So measure 13. You'll hold that double dotted note and then repeat the B section again. And then when you play this the last time and you go to the second ending, you can add a ritardando here where you're slowing it down. And I've got a fermata over that F sharp. You can kind of hold that. So. Have a really nice down bow for that last note. Kind of go all the way to the tip and try to kind of do a decrescendo and just let the sound dissipate in the air. All right, that's the slow version of Bonaparte's Retreat. Enjoy practicing this one. I hope you enjoyed learning that beautiful version of Bonaparte's Retreat. This was one of 5 songs from my summer practice challenge. If you'd like to get the sheet music to this song, play along with all of my play-along tracks, and learn how to add those lovely embellishments, then head on over and join my studio at meadowlarkviolinstudio.com. I'm Laura from Meadowlark Violin. Happy practicing.